everyone, Ariel Adams here with aBlogtoWatch. Please subscribe to our videos on YouTube and like this video if you find it useful. This is a review of the Ulysse Nardin Maxi Marine Diver in gold and ceramic. This is a cool watch. I like this thing. This very well represents what the brand is all about in a lot of respects, and it's interesting to see one like this because this is very much a luxury watch. You have a very heavy gold watch. There's a lot of gold. You have the case, which is gold. It's a thick case. You have I mean, these are relatively large links. Even though the center ones are black ceramic, this is relatively large. And so it's a very weighty, like when I have people hold it, they're like, wow, that's a heavy watch. It is indeed. If you're not used to a heavy watch, it is a heavy watch. Now, most of the Maxi Marines do not come on a bracelet. I think there's a few that have, but most of them come on this rubber strap. And if you remember, there's like a link right here, which is in ceramic, black ceramic usually. And so has this very iconic look. So it's very rare to see these on a bracelet. Now the case is just shy of 43 millimeters wide, so it's actually not a huge watch, but there are very widely spaced lugs here, so it has an impressive quality to it on the wrist. So for this model, like I said, with the black and ceramic, you have this beautiful contrast with the black coloration mixing with that rose gold, and it just looks very, very nice. I find this very, very attractive. It's very bold. It's very masculine, but it does have very much a high-end look. Now let's talk about the marine diver part of it. So it is a dive watch. I'm trying to check here to see if this one has the same water resistance. So it's 200 meters water resistant. Obviously you can see there the mechanical movement back there, and there's obviously a gold rotor to match the gold case. So it's 200 meters water resistant. You do have a nice rotating bezel there. You do have a Loom pip at the 12 o'clock indicator there on the rotating bezel. The hands are very legible and have a great amount of Loom. Now, I wanted to say something about the hands. When I first learned about this watch, which is obviously many years at this point, I was concerned that the skeletonization on the hour and minute hand were going to somehow impede legibility. I found that not necessarily to be true because the different length of the hands and the slightly different shape and the different position of the loom makes it so that it's quite legible. And I can't show you here, unfortunately, but when we do have loom shots in the review, you'll notice just how good the loom is. Now, all the Maxi Marines have what Ulysse Nardin calls their UN-26 movement. That is a module on top of what I believe is a ETA 2892. Now, that module adds a power reserve indicator there at 12 o'clock. You have the date, which is part of it, and then you have the subsidiary seconds dial. And so the idea is to look like old marine chronometers that had this sort of distinct layout with this style of power reserve at the top there. And I think it's great to have a power reserve. I personally love dive watches with a power reserve, so I've always been a fan of the Marine Diver for that reason, because it has these features. And you really don't see seconds hands a lot in dive watches. I think that obviously a lot of people like having that seconds hand easy to see with Loom. This seconds hand does not have Loom. It doesn't bother me, but again, no one's going to be diving with the gold watch. I mean, you could dive with a gold watch. Most people aren't, but for, technically not having a Loom on the seconds hand and having a small one is an issue, but don't let that hamper your decision. Another thing this has here is you see here there's a magnifier lens over the date there, and that's one of those ones which is underneath the crystal, so it's not on top there. You don't have any situation where it's like Rolex, for example, where the magnifier's on top. I don't know, about 10 years ago they started doing this thing where they have the magnifier underneath, and lately you don't see magnifiers at all anymore. It's very, very rare for new watches to come out with magnifiers. I like them. I didn't have a problem, but when you look directly over the date there, you'll notice that it appears larger, and from the side it's much smaller. That magnifier is also very helpful because there's this module on top of the movement. So there's this section just sort of floating over it. And that date, if you look to the side, it's actually quite deep. So having this magnifier, really brings out the legibility of the date a lot. It's kind of getting geeky, I know, but it's an important thing to discuss. There's a black pattern there of waves on that dial. It's neither here nor there. It's cool that there's this pattern. Obviously, it fits very much with the marine theme. Let's get this thing on the wrist. I just like how this thing feels. I just think it's a really cool looking watch. There it is. You'll notice here that this link, and on the opposite side, there's a small engraving there, a little etching in the ceramic of the Ulysse Nardin Anchor logo, which is very, very helpful. And one thing that Ulysse Nardin watches do is, I haven't even taken the blue plastic off here, is there's a little plate here on the side of the watch. And in this instance, it just has a serial number. So it's not a limited edition, but it is a serial number showing you the serial number of the production of the watch. If it was a limited edition, that little plaque right there would be the number of the limited edition, like 2 out of, however many. So there you have it. This is the Ulysse Nardin Maxi Marine Diver in solid 18-karat rose gold with black ceramic links in the bracelet. A very attractive model in my opinion. It's quite expensive. This one retails for $47,200, and obviously most of that has to do with the amount of gold. It is a heavy watch. You'll notice that I would venture to say this is probably heavier than like a Rolex President, for example, which has a obviously smaller case and is priced less expensive than that. But when you buy gold, you got to pay for it. So you can see the full review of this watch on aBlogtoWatch soon. Thanks.